So that was the very first photography competition of the channel, and literally, wow, you guys did awesome. The quality of images that you sent, it's just amazing. I was really blown away, so thank you so much for everybody that participated, everybody that rated images, all the images that I got. That was really cool to see. It was very inspiring and motivating to see things from different parts of the world and just your take on a grilled cheese. Sounds like a simple subject, but I guarantee it wasn't that simple, was it? There's a little bit of finesse when you're talking about hot food, pictures, melting cheese. There's quite a bit of things involved, so thank you so much again. You guys did fantastic. Now, I also want to do a huge shout out to all the channel members. I don't know where you guys are popping up from, but this is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really blown away. If you guys want to have any particular topic for a video, let me know. I'll be happy to make it. But literally, thank you very much because blown away. Awesome, thank you. This video is going to be divided into 3 sections. So part number 1, we're going to go a quick review of the photos. Not all of them, but most of the photos. I'm going to do a quick critique, see what works, what doesn't work. Number 2, lessons we've learned. Every time we do something for the very first time, we're going to learn things. And I learned a lot from this very first competition. So things are going to be a little bit different from now on. And then number 3, I'm going to announce the winner of the contest. Now, there's going to be timestamps here down below. You can jump back and forth if you wish. So let's get going with number 1. Let's do a quick critique here, and I'm gonna record the screen here. Look at this photo, it's beautiful. Look at the melting cheese, everything just looks good. The only critique I have here is there's too much in the background. You got blue, you got the wood, and your depth of field is very shallow. Don't seem to have your camera settings. I have your description, but I don't have camera settings. So anyway, just make the aperture a little bit smaller so I can see more detail on the food and you don't get that much blur in the front and back. Make it more about the food. That's okay. This one here, you can see the melted cheese. It looks good. The lettuce, tomato, not exactly grilled cheese, but that's fine. The bread is a little thick, but what's missing here is you can see the different color temperatures and light, so it's not neutral. Neutral would help a little bit more, or maybe a warm light instead of a red light. But good job on that one. Here's a beautiful grilled cheese. I mean, the melty cheese sauce, whatever, it looks awesome. It is AI though. So, I mean, I wanted to see how this did, and like I said, there's new rules coming soon, so I'll get to that later. But that one looks perfect. If we could replicate this with a photograph, I think it'd just be fantastic. Maybe a little bit tighter, a little bit closer like that. And we'll get to that here in a little bit later also. This one, again, when you put things in the front, it's taken away from the element. Your main subject is the grilled cheese, and we got ketchup that's out of focus. If that was in the back, I think it would have been a little bit better. But again, good grilled cheese. This one, it's got a bite missing, so it's kind of hard to win the competition with. For stock, it's good. You know, you're sampling, you're taking a bite. And then it also looks a little bit pale and blue. A little warmer light would have helped. This one, beautiful grilled cheese. I'm not a big onion person, but it's beautiful grilled cheese, fries, great setup, beautiful lighting. The melted cheese like that is just wow. If anything, for me, a little bit closer. Remember, you want to go to the food, like maybe like that, literally right up in your face about the food, a little bit of the tomato sauce and the potatoes I probably could do without, or maybe a little bit of separation so they're away from the main dish, but fantastic job there. This one, I can't tell if that's mayonnaise or cheese. It's a good photo, but again, the depth of field, it's just, I see cucumber and I see lettuce with maybe mayo. Okay, it's okay. This one, it needs a little bit more light in the front. That looks delicious. Oh, ham, tomato, cheese on a flatbread like that. Great job with this one. It looks beautiful. Like I said, you guys did fantastic. This one I was interested in. Cinnamon crumb swirl with grilled cheese. That sounds really good. Presentation, again, when you're trying to sell food, sell a product, it has to be, you know, like, it's hard to see what it is. Without the description, I wouldn't know what it is, but it looks really interesting. Okay, this was my photo. Again, I'm not gonna win the contest. That was just the example photo, but I know that I like that one. This one is, I mean, that's a beautiful photograph. If anything, look at the positioning of the leaves. Try to make it more random so they're not like placed in strategic places like this. You could probably do without this one back here. The time here in the front, maybe put it in the back so it's out of the plate, just like a side dish and not part of your main dish, if that makes sense. But that panini looks beautiful. This one was one of my favorites. The color just pops. Now, if that tablecloth underneath that thing was green, I think it would have been way better. But that's a beautiful photograph. It's got the colors, it's got everything else. Camera settings are a little off. I know the ISO is pretty high, but again, if you don't have a lot of light, then you have to do what you gotta do. But if that thing in the bottom there was green, I think it would have done much better. This placemat or whatever that is, if that was green, I think it would counter with the red of and the grilled cheese thing. Next, this one's a macaroni and cheese grilled cheese sandwich, which looks very interesting. Again, depth of field, you know, shrink your pupil of your camera a little bit more so you can get more in focus, because right here it's only like the front, not even the front, just here to the side that's a little bit in focus. But good job. Okay, this one, the white cheese, the bread, it looks like a toasted bread, the jalapeno with the green parsley or cilantro, I'm not sure. It's fine. It's got good depth of field, it looks good, but yeah, it's actually pretty good. It just looks like there was added texture when you look at the green, when you look at the bread itself. Interesting. Now that one's different. Simple, plain, simple background, grilled cheese cut in half, plate. That's a hamburger, a cheeseburger with bacon, which yeah. Okay, this one here, you can see the light, it's missing light. The brightest part is behind on the plate, and the main dish is a little bit off. It doesn't have that glow on the dish. Changing the camera settings would help with this a little bit. Next, this one looks very interesting. It doesn't quite look like cheese. If it is, it looks it's very interesting. I like it. Now see the purple in the background, if it was a whole thing, it would have been killer. It would have been way better, because then you can stretch it, you can make it multiple ways as a user. The fact that you have wood and then purple kind of takes away from the image. I still don't know what kind of cheese that is. That's kind of strange. But yeah, good photo. Next, this one, see the light is a little harsh. It got blown out areas. It looks like the plate was blown out and then recovered, muted. It just doesn't scream grilled cheese. I mean, it is, but it doesn't. The photo is just not as vivid. This one looks like a cheesy egg sandwich with half a beer. It looks interesting. I've never seen serving like that, but yeah, good job. Okay, this one, I don't know what the shrimp in the background have to do and the stuff, but the sandwich itself, if you get close, show me the food itself. I think it would have been a much better photo. The peppers look pretty, decorating kind of balances, but that shrimp thing in the background is a bit odd. Next. Okay, this one was fun. Even the dogs got a grilled cheese. Yeah. Cool. I know you said you spent a lot of time trying to get the photo. I read the description. That was interesting. Okay, this photograph here, you can see the cheese, you can see the bread. It's blown out in the background. It just doesn't have enough depth of field or lighting. Maybe looking down so you can see a little bit more of the bread. Nice try. Like I said, all of these photos are fantastic. This one here, dipping the grilled cheese in the soup. If you crop the fingers out so you don't get the shadow in the background, I think it would improve some, or just move away from the background, put the soup dipping on the front with the sandwiches in the back. I think that would have made a little bit of a better seller photo. This one here, it looks plain, simple, beautiful. The lighting, maybe bounce a little bit more light. I could see that you were here with the tomato reflection. It's still a little bit warm and it's missing a little bit of light. Again, adjusting the camera settings could help with this. Next. This one, bacon, grilled cheese, melty, drippy. Again, that just looks, wow, that looks fantastic. Again, it is another AI image. Next, grilled cheese with a coffee press. See, now if you were pouring the coffee into a cup, pouring it, even if it's a little blurred, I think that would have made it better than just having the coffee press in the back. Yeah, that gets the concept, but pouring the coffee would add to the sellability of the photo. The sandwich looks pretty good, but again, just be careful with the props and have them be like using the props. Okay, next, now I have that's like a bun with the meat and the cheese. That looks pretty good. Huh. But again, depth of field. See, the front is off focus. The front is not even sharp, and the focus is over here on the top. So be very careful with where you focus. Now we have on a very dark background, which is taken away because the plate brightens up and the background's very dark. But you can see it looks pretty good. It's just that the plate being white takes away from everything because it's just very vivid, very bright. This one here, it's interesting take, and I understand why. It's very hard to see what's on top on a flat grilled cheese. That's why I thought this was going to be a very challenging subject. Good photo. Maybe get a little bit lower. Again, I understand why you shot it like that, but it's hard to see the setup and what's on top. This one here, again, I've seen a lot of people do this, and as a commercial photographer, food photographer, this was one thing I learned the hard way. And again, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about photography, I got a complete course, one of them on food photography. And when you block your main subject with something out of focus, you're taking away from it. Out of focus things go in the back. Your main subject in the front, sharp. I see a lot of people that do steak and asparagus is out of focus in the front. It's taken away from the steak. Put your main subject in the front, make it bright, big, and then everything else can fall in the background. Same thing that happened here. A grilled cheese in a tree. I have no idea what that has to do with the grilled cheese, but it was a good take. This one was fun. Smile and a grilled cheese thing, that blue plate kind of thing. It looks strange down here in the bottom, like it was cut and pasted, but it still looks pretty good. I'm sure that'll do well for stock. This one, melting. I mean, you definitely got the melty part, but depth of field. See how shallow it is. It's very hard to see everything, and turn it up a little bit so you can see more of your hand and the bread with all that goo coming out. Next, this was definitely interesting. I'd never seen that, and I want to try that. It looks beautiful, but you see how bright the white thing on the table is? If you just cropped it out like that, I think it would have made a much stronger image. Again, about the subject. This one, beautiful. It's harsh light. You can see how the melty cheese goes. That's hard to do with cheese. I gave this one, I think, 4 stars because of that hair that it's got up top. I'm very picky when it comes to numbers for this. But it's a beautiful photograph. With the harsh direct light, you can see how it left the shadow, it left that glow on the cheese. Yeah, it's just that little hair on top was what took something away from me. This one, again, it's out of focus. You focus on the tomatoes and not on your grilled cheese. This one was great. I mean, the idea, the melted stuff, everything coming down. The only thing is that light in the background. See how it's taken away? It's overexposed here and it's taken away from your main side. It's like the light I got behind me, but I try to dim it so it doesn't take away from me and it doesn't glow on me. It only glows back there. Here it's glowing on your bread. This one, again, I did catch that, but you can see that it's brie, but it kind of looks like mayo and the cucumber. Again, I had reservations here. This one I liked. It's very cool photo. The melted cheese pulling it apart. You get the human element pulling it apart, which looks awesome. When we do melted grilled cheese here in the US, we put butter on the bread so the bread gets a sheen to the top. And I know it's a cultural thing and you probably didn't know that, but that looks great. The little glow, I'm not sold on the editing, but it is a very good photograph. You're adding the human element, you're pulling it apart, it's right there, and you have negative space for text. So for stock, that is a great photograph. The only thing, like I said, would be the melted butter on the outside of the bread that toasts the bread instead of just caramelizes the bread instead of just toasting it. This one was interesting. I think there's too little of the sandwich, but it's a great photograph. I mean, you can see cheese melted in butter on crackers. It just too much other stuff happening. If it was closer, I think it would have done a little bit better. Next, this was a cheese plate. There's nothing melted, so sorry, great presentation. It's just not melted cheese anything. This one here was interesting because you got the 2 sandwiches leading into the one in the back where the cheese is, but we don't really know where to look. You got trying to get leading lines, but they're on an angle leading into something that's out of focus. So I think that's what missed here. This one I really liked. The edit could be a little bit brighter, happier, more like a stock photo, like, you know, like, wow, it's a little bit muted. The colors, the yellow is out, the green, or the green and the red are a little bit muted. But I think a little bit brighter edit would have made this one a much better sellable photograph, but it's a great job on that one. This one here is interesting. You got action, you got parsley falling on the eggs, the grilled cheese looks good, garlic, peppers, it might have a little bit too many ingredients. The onion here, but it looks good. It just, the coloring looks a little bit flat and the lighting looks a little flat. Even though you got the shadow, it just looks way too cool to be a happy grilled cheese thing. This one, I don't know what kind of cheese that is. It looks weird. It might even be AI, I couldn't tell. But it just, how it fried, how it melted, it's interesting. But yeah, I like it. I like how it gave those fingers, how it melted like that. Okay, next, this one could have done very well. I have the hot chocolate in the back. The apple is kind of taken away from it. And the fact that it's flat, if you cut it, lift an angle, like, you know, the Christmas tree in the background, great job. It's just a little bit dark and flat. Try to add dimension by cutting it, putting a corner or something where you can see through, and then that apple in the background is taken away from it. This one, it's got cheese, panini. It looks good. It's just not so much about the grilled cheese. It's about a whole sandwich with the salad thing. This one here looks interesting. Just be careful with the grease stains here on the plate. You can see a couple of finger things there. And it's not so much about the grilled cheese. It's about the egg sandwich, which, I mean, it does have melted cheese, but we wanted more cheese, I think. This one was fun. Cutting, slow motion. You can see the slice, but you can't really see what's in the sandwich. The blue here distracts a little bit, even though it kind of, again, it ties everything together, but it's just kind of distracting with the green in the background as well. There's too many colors, too many elements. Was that it? And then this one with blackberries and french fries, again, there's a bite missing. The milk is low. More about the food, I think, would have made it a little bit better. Toasted Gouda blackberry, that sounds delicious, but again, we need to make it more about the food. Anyway, that's the last photo. Now let's go on to what we learned. What changes are coming to the following competitions? Again, fantastic job with most of these photos. I guarantee if you upload all of these photos to your agencies, something's gonna sell, because there's some killers, there's some bangers over here. So again, now let's go back to what we're changing for the next competition. Every time we do something for the first time, we're gonna learn. There's gonna be a learning curve, and I learned a lot from this one. Number one, AI. I did not think that people were going to be submitting AI photos because it's a grilled cheese sandwich. I mean, how hard can it be? Very hard. Now, with AI, I'm going to change the rules. It wasn't in the rules this time, so there was nothing I could do. If the AI photo won, I had to take it. But for next time, we're not going to be doing AI photographs. So you can submit them, but you can't win. To win, you're going to have to submit the raw file so I can check it and make sure that your submission matches that raw image. It cannot be an AI photo. AI, see, there was a quote, and I'm gonna post it here somewhere, but I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I could focus on writing and creating. I don't want AI to do my writing and creating so that I can do dishes and laundry. That's not how I want it to work. If you get the drift in the quote. So AI, I use it, it helps me, but when it comes down to creating, I want to do that myself, and I want to take this, it's a photography competition, not an image competition. So we're going to keep it to images only. The other thing I learned is that for the next few rounds, we're going to be doing 3 photos each instead of just 1. I want to see more. I know some people tried, but I want to see more photos. So we're going to be doing 3 photos each, up to 500 images, which is going to add something else, a little bit more drama to the scene. Then the other thing is I need to stop calling it voting and ask you guys to rate the photos. We're not going to be voting anymore. We're going to be rating the images. And there's a reason for this, which I'll get to here in a second. Then I'm also going to remove the votes from the page, so you don't see who's winning and who's not, because that's not how we're gonna decide the winners. If you go to the rules page, you'll see that it says the winners are determined by voting. This is point 4, judging and voting. Winners are determined by voting, and measures will be in place to ensure voting, fair voting to prevent fraud. And there was a lot of bots. This agency I'm using, Poll Unit, flagged a whole bunch of accounts, and I don't understand why, but there was a lot of bots, and there was also a lot of people upvoting and downvoting other ones. So mine only got 5 votes, the other one, we don't want that. So I'm getting rid of all that. I'm gonna take your rating as a suggestion, and then from there, I will choose the winner with the help of a third party. What I did with this one is I reached out to Newer, and they helped me pick the winner. Because it also says fair voting is essential for the integrity of the contest. If the voting appears to be in favor of a photo due to inflated support rather than merit, Wollertz Photography reserves the right to determine the winner through a combination of community feedback and professional evaluation, which is what I did. I reached out to the professional team at Newer, and that's what they recommended, and they agreed with me with the winner of this competition. So, with that said, things are going to be changing a little bit, but because I wrote this the way that I did, it's my fault. I made a mistake. And I feel terrible. But when I started this, I never said anything to you guys, but I pledged to be as fair as I could and to deliver as honest as I could the thing. That's the whole point of the contest, is to be fair and to be truth. And I feel terrible that I allowed you guys to see the votes. And so when it comes to the winner, it is not going to be the popular vote. It is going to be a different person that I chose. And now, the winner of this very first Wollertz Photography competition, the winner is a pull-apart cheese sandwich for National Grilled Cheese Day by Juanjo Menta. Thank you so much for everybody. Now, again, I feel terrible because this photograph here by Bogdan Kolerik, sorry if I mispronounced your name, has more than double the votes. So does this one here by Sander Mejias. He's got almost as double the votes as everybody else. That's what I said on the rules. It's not inflated support, it's by merit. And Newer also agreed that this photo here had everything it needed to make the cut, to make the winning photo. So Juanjo Menta, congratulations. You're the proud owner of a brand new Newer Z2 Flash. I'll be reaching out to you via email to get your information so that we can get you the right setup. Now, because I made a mistake and I allowed you to see this, I know it must feel horrible to know that somebody else won even though you got this. So I talked to Newer and we agreed to give you a consolation prize. So I'm gonna be emailing you as well with the details of what you're gonna be getting, just because I made a mistake and I promised to fix it for the next rounds, but for this one and for this one time, we're gonna be doing a consolation prize to the most amount of votes received in this competition. I apologize, this is not the way I wanted to do this, but again, it's the very first time I do something and there's ups and downs. Thank you everybody that participated, and I do promise that I'm gonna pay more attention to my wording so that there's nothing devious. I want to be as honest as I can and as truthful as I can. And like I said in the rules, this is not a popularity contest. We're going based on merit. And there's some fantastic images here. There's a lot of really good photos. And this one, based not only on votes, on your recommendation, but based on the professionals from Newer and myself, we decided that Juanjo Menta is the winner of the very first photography challenge. Whew, that was a lot. And with that said, we're just a few days away from the second photography competition, so don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notified when the new competition comes out, because remember, there's gonna be new rules, new timing, new challenges, and it's gonna be a completely different subject. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Did I mention that I have a photography course available here on YouTube as a member thing? If I didn't, it's right down there. There's a link down below. Check it out. You can go to my website and look a little bit as to what's in it, but I think it's gonna help a lot of people, not only with their travel photos, with their stock photos, with their commercial photography. There's a lot of information there that's gonna make your photography a lot easier to understand if you're new, or if you're intermediate, or even advanced. Why not? Check it out.